It is philosophical, and it is true that we have to work a lot of times in uncertainties. But if you have your values and your path laid out, your core intent laid out, it can become your thread to make and get you to achieve what you wanted. If you reflect on day one, I did tell you it was an idea that was seeded by somebody who's exactly like you. And that idea is what has made it its success even 20 years later. You're still holding that thread. That idea was the intent and the cause. It was driven for the cause, and here you are today, you're actually touching many more lives. So, just to quickly summarize, on day one, we just tried to make sure that you understood what exactly went on in the back end. As Preeta rightly pointed out, sometimes in design, we need to do strategy to make sure that all of you are coming into the same space at some point of time. Not all of you will be in that same space, but you have to come to that space at some point of time. And this exactly was the time. We had to make sure that everybody understood the need for the network. An aligned understanding to at least a larger extent is what will make the network far more stronger. The other thing that we also wanted is, we didn't want you to just walk away with a graduation certificate claiming yourself to be an inalien. We really wanted to make sure you have the tools and the understanding of the processes to make sure that when you choose to convene again, whether it's an administrative group or a financial group or whatever the groups are or the committees are for the network, you can reapply. She's given you the best of the tools. She's given you the best. These tools, you take it forward, it can be reapplied in your own life. It can be reapplied in your own professional space. But what MSSRF would like is that you begin to continue to use these tools, strengthen your charts, and make it more workable for building the network. The tool will guide you. The tool will allow you to come out of this space, the VUCA space, in nurturing and taking it forward. The other point is, how do we make sure that we're strategic enough? We need to build strategies. Just taking an activity like how we did the bridge building, without strategies, the best of the bridges could not have been built today in this world. There's a lot of planning, there's a lot of thinking, a lot of purposeful, decisions made so that it supports the cause and the intention of the idea. So this was primarily the basic thread line with which this convening was conceived, to make sure that we leave behind a legacy of things that can actually allow you to go forward in unity as inalien group and inaliens of South Asia. Last but not the least, none of you have asked us any questions related to it. There were assessments done. These assessments, Preeta has been very magnanimous. When we told her what the situation is, she just offered the tools. And initially when she said it, I internally questioned it. I may not have voiced it. She's really magnanimous to share these tools, because you actually cannot get access to these tools unless you're a trained facilitator. But she said, this network needs it, and because you are looking at it from a very futuristic perspective, these tools will help you to seed the change, to build that network through these inaliens. That's what she told me. So I relied on it, and all of you, through a transparent process, have been given a chance to go through it. Mainly because we just can't run to build the bridges. I'm bringing back that thing because that was the first thing that happened, the first activity that she had set. To see whether you're collaborative enough, whether you're communicating, and if you do reflect, in all the 3 activities, you're still continuing to say you're not communicating. Where is the lesson learned? Or are we learning our lessons? Somebody said we need to communicate and connect. Are we doing that? Please reflect, because these are points just to take back. They are not to pinpoint and say you didn't do your job. Actually, when she shared this activity with us, our team was like, not possible. She said, be positive. But she put us on a task. She doesn't leave us alone. It's not just her idea. She seeds the idea, but she gets us working. This picture, she said, bring the big picture. You tell us what you want. We literally had to work out something that will be easy, understandable, and perhaps a little bit philosophically attached. I do not know if anybody cracked that. I wish you did, but it's okay. So coming back to that point, we need people who can build. We need people who can engineer. And we want somebody who can run it. But with an inner ability which is naturally within yourselves that can be mapped to the skills that you have to run the network. That was the primary and the base for this entire convening. So I thank each and every one of you to have made your contributions. I do understand it has been a very tight convening, but we didn't have a choice out of our own logistical arrangements, but we have done well. Today when I see this, I really thank you, Preeta, because every activity when she said it to us, we had our own doubts, but today when I see it unfolding, Kung Fu Panda, if you remember, I reflected. I questioned it, but when I saw the inputs that were coming out, I realized we're leading there, and I did make that comment. We're going in the right direction. And today, when I see the entire picture together, we've made it. It's not whether it's 100%, it's not whether it's 50%, but each one of you have started sowing the seeds of change for your own network. The assessments that you did, would you like to know what went on? How many rounds did we do? Some of 4 rounds. First, we did 1 round with all of you with 2 sheets. So there were 2 tools the first day. An assessment happened. And then Preeta supported, she went through her own assessment process and she kind of like said, who kind of like, we could shortlist the top 25. The top 25 came forward. There was a meeting that happened in the evening when all of you were doing your impact activity. And they went through a very rigorous process. How many tools? 3 tools. Each of these tools has actually showcased what exactly your inner ability, your competencies, and your leadership capabilities are. I'd also like to share and connect with my day 1 presentation. We need somebody who's extremely collaborative. We need somebody who wants to lean towards a growth mindset. These were some of the criteria or parameters we were looking for because, as I said, older models are collapsing and newer models are coming into play, and it only works if your core values are intact, if your intention is right, and if it's cause-driven, it will work. So these were some of the broader guidelines that Preeta and I and the team had actually discussed, and this is where it stands as of today. We are very delighted to know that we do have builders in this group. We also have engineers, and there are people who can influence and drive this effort. So as I call, you can just stand up and please give them a big round of applause because they will work parallelly with us and the transition committee, and we will take it forward from there. For us, this is a very organic way of doing it. This has no idea beyond this. What we really wanted is to get the core on board. As somebody reflected in the Kung Fu, I'm referring to that movie, you said you needed to trust on that leader who can actually lead it for you, and that's very important to make sure that the network gets seeded the right way. So this has no order. I am just randomly calling out names as given. Yeah? Mumtaz, please come forward. Rita, come forward, please. No, just come. Okay. Partha. Ramya. Let's go. Kia. Yeah. Let's go. Get ready. Khalid. No. Sai Avinash. Binoy. Arshi. Gopal. Pavan. Come.
Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it.
Rishikesh.
Yeah, this is it.
Tandar.
Yeah, this is it.
Nisa. Kali.
Yeah, this is it.
Amol.
It's now or it's never. No plan with forever. It's now or
Prabjot.
it's never. Yeah. It's down to the wire. Who gonna take the empire?
Almamun.
It's down to the wire. This is it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. This is it.
This is your group of builders, engineers, and the network.
Yeah, this is it.
Let me just finish. If you can have the music switched off. Yeah, we will get to the photo session very soon. We really need to wrap up because there are people traveling, having international flights. Please bear with me. Logistics again. Okay, so we do have this pool. Does not mean like, see, you must be very, very aware. One of the things that came out very strongly from the transition committee discussion is that you're all government officials and we take consideration of your positions right now. Your future may change, it may be the same, I really don't know. That's not my job. But what we really wanted is to make sure that you have a good pool with you, right? So there may be a time when one half does not exist because they're busy doing something, but there will be another one that will lean and build that network for you and give their time and make sure that things happen. That said, we also have a few people who have been, who we know can be great contributors, but we have actually parked them for certain reasons. But they're going to do really well because we know that they have certain competencies that we have observed, and we have also seen it happen with them. So I'd like to call Mahasin. Shivakumar, sir. Shivakumar. Please come forward. Yeah, please. Vijay Kumar and Geeta ji. I'd like to share that the entire thing was done very open. There has, Preeta has facilitated this. She got everything done with you. And the assessment has been based on what she has come out with this tools. It's extremely scientific. There is evidence. We have documents which will go into our legacy documents. When we do it, we'll package it. So the whole process has come together. We really thank each one of you to have actually given your time through this process, because you will, each one of you in different ways, we will start looking at your roles and responsibilities, how we can build it together. We'll start having conversations with the transition committee and the MSSRF team and take it forward from here. Yeah? Sounds good? Yeah? Yes.
It's a fact because we didn't know we are going to fill in. The exercises we did, it was completely our individual perceptions when we were answering and went through the 5 levels of, IQ, EQ and DISC, uh, professional and leadership qualities. And I admire MSSRF to be so transparent in this exercise. It's highly appreciated.
So thank you so much. And that brings a closure to the convening.